January 25th training log. I just got back from a mountain bike ride, Zone 1, Zone 2. What was on the training schedule for today was a Zone 1, Zone 2 bike ride. Tried to do it on the mountain bike, which is sometimes a challenge to stay Zone 1, Zone 2 on a mountain bike, especially when you're getting back on the mountain bike after a decade off. But I think I did okay. It's challenging for the main reason that there's this happy medium between momentum and trying to keep it an easy ride that you have to balance. You can easily ride just too slow and have to hammer over terrain or hammer through turns, which creates a huge gap between your average power and normalized power. And this is kind of what generates a lot of fatigue. So mountain biking, you have to hit a happy balance of carrying enough momentum so that you keep a smooth application of power, and that's what allows you to do an easy ride on a mountain bike. Sometimes you'll see a mountain bike ride with a fairly low heart rate that might be one of your faster rides, and that's because you were just a little more efficient getting through it. I think I did an okay job today. There were parts where I kind of did not do well with my skills and reading terrain and really kind of moving through the terrain the way I needed to, but I didn't do badly. Still got some set of base skills that are still working in my favor. Certainly not like running and swimming was for me when I started into triathlon 4 years ago, where I didn't start swimming or running really until I was 47 years old. So I at least am not in the position of having to totally relearn everything. It is a different bike. It's a totally different setup than what I raced on in the mid 90s and early 2000s. So there's a lot to get used to there, but I feel like I'm getting better. I did do some experimentation today with my fueling options. I'm using a POC VPD Air 13L. Not sponsored by POC, but it seems to be a good bag. Nice and wide, so that I can spread the gear that I have in here out. There's a good bit of stuff in here that it's just the run-of-the-mill stuff that you carry on a mountain bike ride, like a tire repair kit, a jacket, some CO2 cartridges, and everything that you need out on the trail to multi-tool. But it's all kind of spread out so that it doesn't create this big bulge on your back, which I feel like is going to be helpful to me on some of these faster sections, these open double track gravel roads and open roads on at Leadville and Austin. So what I experimented with today is I have a trick in Ironman where I mix up bottles with super dense fuel, so I can carry my own fuel and have enough for a super long day. That means that I'll use as much as 6 to 8 scoops of my fuel in a single water bottle like this. I usually mix it up 2 or 3 nights before so that it gets very, very emulsified. So it winds up being super dense fuel, and coupled with the fact that I'll have about 3 liters of plain water that maybe has 1 or 2 electrolyte tabs in it, I should be able to keep up with the proper calories per hour, draining down these dense water bottles, dense mixture water bottles. So what I experimented with today is actually putting these in the helmet carrier. I did one today, but it was comfortable enough that I feel like maybe I can pull off 2 water bottles, 2 dense water bottles in there. The only thing I'm worried about is the fact that this is black, and in the heat of the summer, it may warm those bottles up significantly. In Ironman races, I've picked a fuel that doesn't taste terrible, or I don't not feel like taking on when it gets hot, because you know, that can be an issue with some fuels, is they get hot and then they're hard to drink when they're hot. The fuel I use is not. I mean, I've tested it since you know, my 2017 season, where I had very brutally hot Ironman races. Ironman Chattanooga that year was very, very hot. Same this year. I had Augusta 70.3, where I had you know, the same type of very, very hot race. The way I'll use these is they're very easy to pull out. During the testing today, I was able to get this one out and down into the water bottle cage. Virtually impossible to get it back in once I've done that. But use expendable bottles, so I can toss the bottles in the aid station, or my support crew, and they can refill this guy on the fly. So basically, it'll be just grabbing the bottle out of this pack, down in the water bottle cage, discard the water bottle that's in the cage. I have a single cage on the mountain bike, so that gives me pretty much the option to have 3 fueling bottles with me at all times. If I were to miss my crew at the planned aid station, I have enough fuel to make it to another aid station, and I have some time to think about, you know, what I'm going to do to mitigate any shortfall in fueling from there. So I've got reserves that buy me time to come up with a plan B between aid stations if I were to miss a feed.